Hey guys, All in Crypto here and welcome back ladies and gentlemen for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a fantastic start to your week. Today guys, we're going to be jumping into Vechain. It's been a couple of days since we've covered the project, so today is the day we're going to be diving straight into it. And there are a number of interesting things happening with Vechain right now. You potentially are in a bit of a bearish pattern, a bit of a descending triangle, which we're going to talk about in this video, and that would actually line up with how we kind of think the characteristics of Vechain play out. You know, you guys know that we've mapped out Elliott wave theory for a number of projects that we're into, and ultimately one thing that I really want to highlight in this video is the fact that Vechain is a laggard. Projects seem to kind of, you know, we know that there's projects above and beyond their previous all-time highs. Vechain doesn't do that. If you look at typically how it recovers, you know, you're essentially here guys. You've had your first kind of impulse in a new trend after your falling wedge, which is a trend reversal pattern, and you've still got this to come for these waves. And Vechain, I believe, is going to get to $1 and beyond. I think $1 is quite a conservative price prediction actually, and we've got to that price prediction. You can go and watch previous videos where we've overlaid fibs and we've kind of worked out Elliott wave theory and said, look, you know, just how far can this thing go? I mean, if we're at $7 billion in terms of market cap, you know, it's only around about 60 billion dollars in terms of an overall market cap. And I think this market, if I'm predicting, you know, that we end this kind of bull run in a similar way to 2017, I think you're going to get there, essentially. There's no point trying to zoom out on the 4 hour. I think you're going to end this year in a similar way to 2017 and prior to that 2013. Where you have these kind of blow off tops, and I think Vechain stands a good chance to get into that sort of $60-70 billion market cap and you know, having a dollar plus price. And it's just such a strong project. You know, you guys know in the last video that we made, we did cover that they were now moving into the kind of eco-friendly space, and this is where Vechain is going to shine along with the kind of healthcare sector. It is a pretty used blockchain, one of the most used blockchains, and in actual fact, we'll talk about the fact that this has come to fruition and you can actually see them trading the carbon. You know, it's already live. So let's get straight into it, guys. Let's not waffle on for too much longer. Let's take a look at where Vechain is today. It's currently sat at 12 cents. Not really doing much on the daily, but still down on the weekly. And ultimately, guys, you are in a bit of a bearish pattern right now. And ultimately, I don't want to keep saying ultimately too many times, but what I am going to say is hang in there with Vechain. It's not, none of this is financial advice. I'm personally looking to pick up a little bit more Vechain if we do dip lower. And this is a project that I'm going to hang in there with. And you know, like I say, we're going to look at the fact that it is a laggard. We're going to compare it with some other coins and where they were in their recoveries compared to where Vechain was, and really highlight that it is a laggard and it does a lot in a little bit of time. So the pattern that I'm talking about, guys, is a descending triangle, which I'll draw. We'll probably switch it into logarithmic scale because you'll be able to see it more clearly. So what I'm looking at is something like this, guys, and this is really in opposition with something like CARDANO, which is in the opposite of this. It's in a bit of a horizontal, perhaps an ascending triangle that typically break to the upside, whereas your descending triangles will typically break to the downside. It doesn't always have to happen like this, guys, but this is typically quite a bearish. You know, you can see plenty of examples that we're showing you here. These are live examples. So these are examples that are played out on the charts. And like I say, it doesn't have to play out like this. Typically, however, a descending triangle will. You've essentially got a horizontal level of support with a descending level of resistance, which is essentially pushing you down. It's kind of compacting you to your resistance level and kind of prepping you for a bit of a fall of it. Now, this would actually line up pretty perfectly with the characteristics of Vechain. This doesn't have to happen, by the way, guys. I mean, you guys know that, you know, we were kind of telling people, look, we're accumulating right down here in anticipation of this fifth and final wave. And if you look at the characteristics of Vechain, you can see after its first little move, which you're essentially here, we'll take it off log so you can see that in a bit more detail. You know, this is really your one wave. And if you look, you come up, you have this first kind of little impulsion. You come to this EMA and you actually sell below it before then retaking it as support and continuing on onwards and upwards. And similar with how you finish your two wave, you have this first little rally, which is essentially where Vechain is today, and you come back and you fall through this EMA before you use it as kind of your rocket fuel to the upside. And that's pretty much what I think is going to happen for Vechain. So, I mean, you can see it on here, guys. Your first little impulsion of your breakout. You come back, you fall below this EMA. You come back, you fall below the CMA before using it as kind of the fuel to take you to the upside. And that could be what you're setting up for right now. And certainly a pattern like this would kind of dictate that. Now, if the rest of the market starts to shoot up, you know, Bitcoin doesn't look too bad. It looks like it's coiling up, and hopefully we do what we do in an uptrending market and we use a CMA as support. You know, I think that it would largely throw this structure out the window and it would get dragged up with everything, and this would be an invalid structure. But it's something certainly to watch. We're watching Cardano's ascending triangle like a hawk because we obviously have made a number of calls on the fact that it potentially might break to the upside. Now, what I want to show you very quickly before we jump into anything else like the news, every single day Vechain have a new partnership, guys. I mean, this is a seriously adopted blockchain. And the reason being is because blockchain technology in the field that Vechain have placed themselves in is far, far superior to the kind of already existing systems that we have in place. Blockchain, this is why blockchain is going to play a big role in the world that we're moving towards, because it's superior on a plethora of levels. I want to show you that Vechain's a laggard. And what I want to kind of do, like I say, most projects are kind of up here. If we take the first kind of, or we'll use this one to start with, you know, you can see really if you come to November and you look, you hadn't yet taken out your previous highs. Now, if we go to something like Cardano, for example, and we go down to November, you can see that it had already taken out its previous highs and actually cleared them. And that's the same here as well, guys. It's also the same for Bitcoin. If we go back to Bitcoin in November, where are we? You can see that from your sell-off, you know, what have we got on it? From your sell-off, guys, you'd already start to climb out of the pit going into December. You'd already cleared that kind of sell-off. And Vechain essentially just lags behind and then does a lot in a little bit of time and recovers in a kind of slower manner. And that's kind of what I'm anticipating. I am watching that descending triangle pretty closely because I think it would kind of tie in with maybe we have a little spill. You know, you have had this bullish cross here, by the way, guys. And if you look at the last time we had one of those, it was way back, coincidentally, at the start of your 2 wave. And obviously, you guys know we think you're at the start of your 5th wave. And prior to that, you know, start of your 1 wave. So it's a good signal that we're on that 5th wave, guys. And ultimately, you know, if you own Vechain, hang in there. I know what it's like, guys. I've picked some of the biggest lemons in crypto that there is in the past. Learnt my lesson from it. I'm not saying Vechain's a lemon at all. It's, to me, a very, very strong blockchain that's extremely undervalued. And one reason that Vechain is a laggard is just because it's not on some of the big exchanges like Coinbase. And I don't think it's on Kraken either. I'll be able to tell you guys just now if you bear with me. If you want to find out what exchange a coin's in, by the way, guys, come to CoinMarketCap, scroll down, and you'll see some of the listed exchanges. Yeah, it's not on Kraken or Coinbase, and they're 2 big exchanges. Coinbase certainly is a big retail exchange. And that's why the flow of money takes a little bit longer. I think you can buy it on Atomic Wallet now. I think there's an actual fiat on-ramp, so that's a huge win for the adoption scale of Vechain. But ultimately, you know, they do tend to kind of lag behind, and that's really the reason why. So we know it's a laggard on the charts. We know it's a laggard and why it is. And ultimately, you know, you are in a bit of a bearish pattern. If the market, such as Bitcoin, decides to kind of keep moving upwards, then it will kind of hopefully throw this pattern off and this kind of retest, this kind of equilibrium, which we said you were going to get when you get overextended from these EMAs, with your EMA could act as perfect support and set up for more continuation. But typically you'll come below it and you'll sell below it. You can see that's, you know, you come up, you sell below it. You come up, you sell below it. You could be coming up, selling below it. That might offer a fantastic entry point. Let's take a look at where that. Okay, I was just going to see if it bounced off the 50 EMA, but it's not. There'll be another EMA it would have bounced off, but we're not going to scroll through them all to try to find that today. But that's really the main takeaway I've got. Hang in there, guys. Vechain is a super strong project. You're here in regards to your waves, and you've still got this to come, guys. So going to be a good year, guys, and I do still anticipate that Vechain gets to $1 and above. Make sure you take profits along the way and don't be greedy. Not financial advice, just my opinion. Certainly what I'm going to be doing. You know, I've been accumulating Vechain for a long time now. Very happy with where it is, but haven't really taken much profits at all because I believe in where we're going. You know, certainly when we look at the kind of news feed, this is huge. This carbon. Vechain has announced a new blockchain initiative designed to help businesses openly track and report their carbon emissions, and it goes into why they're significantly sufficient. in doing this based on the fact that they're a blockchain. And this is kind of the fruits of that labor already taking place, guys. You know, this is a blockchain that you cannot call and say isn't being used. They are very, very used. And ultimately, when this thing gets going, guys, and you've kind of finished and made that kind of bounce, it's happy days, guys. That's all I have for you in this video. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Hopefully you found the content useful and entertaining. If you have, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. And I will see you tomorrow. Let me know, by the way, guys, in the comment section if there's any other videos you want me to cover. Not any other videos, any other projects you want me to cover. We're doing Vechain and Cardano at the moment. We're going to get into some of the Cardano ecosystem. Some of the projects that are coming out of that. But if there's anything else you want me to cover, guys, let me know in the comment section and we'll take it on board. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.